Galloway's Tech Talk at 3, how to use Microsoft Soundscape app.
Right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Galloway's Tech Talk at 3. It's Andrew here from Galloway's. I'm also joined by all the lovely people from Galloway's, including we've got Amanda and we've got Jenny. Hi, guys.
Hi. Hi.
There we go. You there, Jenny?
Yep.
Yeah. Just testing. Right, we got Jenny as well. So welcome, guys. And today I'm going to do my very best to take you through how we use the Microsoft Research Project app, which is called Soundscape. Soundscape's a brilliant app, which I must admit I've not had much chance to use over the last 12 to 15 months, for obvious reasons. But Soundscape is a great way of having an audio experience or a 3D audio map as you travel from A to B within your local environment or maybe a city centre. You want to know, what points of interest are around you and where they're located. And Soundscape provides you with a 3D audio experience to help you understand your environment. So that's how it works. So what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to play a brief video about Soundscape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get on and we're going to have a little look at the app itself. And I'm going to attempt to do a bit of a demonstration as well. So I'm going to play this video. It's just a brief video about Soundscape, and then I'm actually going to get the app up so that you can all have a kind of a live demonstration, if you like, of how it works. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my video. There you go. You should see my screen again, guys.
Yep.
Okay. And here we go. So here's the video. This is a little video about Soundscape.
On a sidewalk.
Hi, we are here today to talk about the Microsoft Soundscape app, which is an application that allows anyone with low vision or visual impairment to be able to have mobility and independence. And to help me do that, I have Amos Miller
with a dog
with me to really give us a real demo of this application. Amos, do you want to describe Soundscape?
Soundscape is really cool, okay? Using a stereo headset, it lets a person who's blind or low vision hear where the landmarks are around them in 3D. And in this way, they can build a richer awareness of their surroundings and feel more independent and confident to explore the world beyond what they know.
That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like it paints what's around you in sound.
That's exactly what it does. Shall we try it out?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so you have the headset on.
Yes, I have the headset.
And you'll start by pressing around me and just listen to where the landmarks are and tell me where you're hearing them.
Around you.
On a smartphone.
Park 295 feet. Microsoft building 34,
wow, that's pretty awesome.
295 feet.
Soundscape effectively takes the same map that you have running on the phone and plays it in 3D sound. Isn't that cool?
That is so awesome.
With Soundscape, instead of turn-by-turn instructions, we will place an audio beacon on building 34 so we can hear where it is.
Got it.
Okay?
So this app knows how to rendezvous with that beacon.
Exactly. So
okay.
We'll set the beacon.
Okay.
Okay, there's a button to
and
set
so
the
should
beacon.
I also do the same?
Yeah, do exactly the same. And on the top of the list, you'll see building 34 access ramps.
I'll do that.
Access ramp.
Yeah.
Beacon 285
okay.
feet.
Access ramp. And on your right ear, you'll start hearing a clicking sound.
Oh.
Can you hear that? Let's turn towards the way you're hearing the beacon.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's completely centered, and you hear a bell sound that tells you we are pointing at building 34. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we can't walk. There's a road on the way.
That's correct.
So let's walk along the road and find a place to turn right.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Straight on. So you can hear the beacon on your right as you walk along here.
So I know that I'll have to, at some point, turn right.
That's right. So I'll start cueing the dog to find a crossing. Ever find a crossing? You might have received
and in fact I got
announcement.
Yeah.
Okay. Ever find a crossing? So you really work together with the app as well as the dog in this case.
Yeah.
Are we safe to cross?
Yes, we are.
Ever forward. And now As the beacon straightens
so
up
cool.
right in front of us, you should be able to hear the beacon right in front, which tells us that we are walking in a straight line towards our destination.
Yes. But the interesting thing here is this can be useful for anybody who's in a new space, even if you're fully sighted.
That's right. This is inclusive design in action.
Correct. Yeah, because as you said, you land up in a parking lot or you land up in a campus that you don't know anything about. And
just
obviously in
place
our
the beacon.
campus, our buildings are not numbered in sequence. Very helpful.
Building
Yeah.
34.
Good boy, Trevor. And we are at the access ramp.
That's right.
Good boy,
That's
Trevor.
awesome.
Good boy.
That is really awesome.
Fantastic. That
Thank you
worked
so
well.
much, Amos. This is such a wonderful work. Where can people go get this app?
People can get the app for free on the iOS App Store in the US, in the UK, in Australia, and we're working to get it to other countries as well.
It's awesome. Thank you so much,
Okay.
and it's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Smiling, they shake hands.
Okay, there you go, guys. So that's just a little bit of a video there, just to give you a bit of an idea about Soundscape, because we can't really do like a live walk in my local area and film it at the same time and be on Zoom. So I thought find a good video that we can all look at. So as you see there, Soundscape at the moment uses an iOS device, so it has to be an Apple device. So either an iPhone or an iPad with cellular and data activity, so that's enabled as well. And really, you do need a pair of stereo headphones. So whether they're wired headphones or the wireless headphones, you could use the bone conduction aftershock headphones as well if you want to keep your your ears open. They're a good kind of good headphone to use as well. And now if you use Apple's own headphones, the Apple AirPod Pro or the AirPod Max, those headphones now give the Soundscape app, they give information as to which direction your head is pointing in as a compass. So there's technology in those headphones now that gives Soundscape more in-depth information about where you are. Because when you use Soundscape, you do have to have your phone out and kind of have it upright in front of you, so it's pointing in the direction you're going in. If you put it in your bag and it's upside down in your bag and stuff like that, it's not going to be very accurate. So it's good that we're seeing some hardware come out now, headphones, and there was also the Bose sunglasses frames as well that have speakers in them as well. Check them out, Bose frames. They also have the compass technology in those, that Soundscape can get that information to know exactly which direction you're actually pointing in. So that's quite important for the GPS and for the navigation. So
Sorry, Andrew, just
go on,
before you
Jenny.
move on from that point then.
Yeah.
So you're saying you've got to have your phone out and pointing in the direction that you're going in.
You
so are
yeah.
you meaning that the screen has got to be skyward facing with the speaker, your speaker, as close to your
It's a good
body?
point, Jenny. Yeah. So you want the phone kind of, you want to be holding it in a normal position as you would if you were using it. So the screen is facing you, or it's kind of pointing up at your chin. So yeah, so the phone is in a normal kind of position, just horizontal, facing you. So it can be near your chest, your chest level, or it can be further down at your side. As long as the front of the phone is pointing forwards, it will get the most accurate representation of whether you're north, south, east, west. That's the most important thing. Like anytime you use satellite navigation with a mobile phone, sometimes you might wonder why it doesn't always pick you up straight away, and it's because it needs to get the direction your phone is in. So that's quite important that you do it that way, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to share the screen. So I'm now going to share my iPhone screen so that I can do a demonstration of this app. Okay, so hopefully Jenny and Amanda, you can see my iPhone there.
Yep.
That'll be spotlighted for everybody. Okay, so this app will run in the background. So when you if you just want it to run in the background alongside one of your other, GPS apps that you might use, like you might use Blind Square, you might use Google Maps, you might even use Lazarillo, or the WeWalk app, which we're going to be having a look at next week. The important thing about Soundscape is it's not designed to give you A to B, step-by-step directions. It's not designed that way. It's designed to give you an audio experience, to give you a 3D audio map experience about where you are. So when you open the app, obviously you want your headphones in. You can use it without headphones, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not very useful. And the reason being is because when you're using a pair of stereo headphones, as you're walking around your environment, you will hear information about points of interest that are around you, road names, intersections, bus stops, lots of useful information that to fully sighted people would be visual, but to a blind person, we need that. We need that in an audible way. And not only will this app speak to you, but it will give you an idea in 3D audio about where those points of interest are. Okay, so as you're walking around,
There are no nearby markers to call out right now.
I didn't mean to press that. Sorry about that. As you're walking around, you can find out what your location is. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, we've got some buttons at the bottom of the screen. We've got my location, we've got around me, we've got ahead of me, and we've also got nearby markers. I'll explain what nearby markers are a little bit later on. But obviously, my location, if I tap on that.
Facing south along Green Gates, near address 21, intersection with residential street 25 meters ahead.
So that is actually telling me where I am at the moment. It's my address. You all know where I live now. That's fine. We'll edit that bit out. So that is where I currently am located. And then the next button along is a button which is called Around Me. Now, if I select Around Me, as long as the app's open and I'm walking about, the app will continuously be almost like in an exploration mode, and it will tell me as I'm walking around what's actually around me. So I'll just press that one.
Knowsley Lane Primary School, 95 meters. Hillside Care Home, 60 meters. Knowsley Manor, 180 meters.
Okay, and that just tells me currently what's around me. And that will keep updating as I walk around my environment. So the closer I am to a certain point of interest, it will tell me I'm closer, the meters will reduce. And as I walk past that location, it will tell me either in my left ear or my right ear that I'm coming up to it or it's ahead. So we can also use, the ahead of me option as well at the bottom of the screen. So if I tap that, that will say
Hillside Care Home, 60 meters. St. Columba's Church, 175 meters. St. Columba's RC, Primary School, 290 meters.
Okay, and that's just telling me what's ahead of me, what's further. So it's quite difficult to demonstrate this because obviously I'm not walking anywhere at the moment. So that is a little bit tricky to demonstrate. But what we are going to attempt to do is we are going to have a look at the virtual street map, which I will show you how that works as well. At the top of the screen, there is a search for a location, search for a place or a location or an address, and you can type that in on your phone. So for example, I could tap in there and I can search for any location in the world I want to. So for example, I could type in, if I type in Fishergate, for example, which is in Preston. I've got at the top here, I've got Fishergate Shopping Centre, and I've got Fishergate Hill Surgery, which is obviously in Preston. So there's a Fishergate Inn as well. Maybe that's in Wigan. So I can select any of those locations. So I'm going to select Fishergate Shopping Centre. So I'm going to select that. And then what that does then is it brings up Fishergate Shopping Centre as a location. And it's telling me that I'm 37.65 kilometers away from it. And it's ahead of me, and it's in the north direction. It's telling me that it's in Preston. And what I can do is I can save this as a marker, okay, so that when I am in Preston, I can find this location easily. I can start what's called an audio beacon, okay, which the video that we were looking at before means that if we're in the location or nearabouts where this particular location is, we can use an audio beacon which will help guide us to that location by playing a high-pitched frequency in either your left or your right ear, and that's how that works. And we've also got Soundscape Street Preview, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then we've also got Share Location as well. So if you wanted to add this to your Google Maps, or you wanted to share it as a location with a friend, you know, you can go ahead and you can do that as well. So that's the Fishergate. I'm just going to come back a screen on the main screen again, because I just want to show you what you do in your in your local area where you might be now. So for example, I'm at home, okay, so I can find places nearby, this is a menu on the main screen. Find places nearby. I can look at my saved markers, and I can also look at my current location as well. So if I go to the current location, that will just give me my current location, okay, which is my address. If I go to places nearby, this will give me lots of categories of points of interest. So this will give me all places, public transport, food and drink, things to do, groceries, banks and ATMs, which can be really helpful, and also essential services as well. So you can have a little, rummage through those and see what you find best. But I'm going to go for the favorite one, the obvious one that we all probably would be mostly interested in, which would be food and drink. So I'm going to go to food and drink, and in there I have got Yanshi's cakes. I've got the Old Roundabout, the brew bar in Liverpool. I've got Tolee. I've got Hillside Home Bake, and that's 540 meters away from me. So I can tap on the Hillside Home Bake, and again I open that and it gives me the address. I can save it as a marker. I can start an audio beacon, or I can start the Soundscape Street Preview. What I'm going to do is, I know I want to go there, so I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it as a marker. So I'm going to do that. So that is now going to be saved. I'll hit the done button.
Marker created.
And it just tells me that there's a marker created. Okay. And I'm going to come back into the main menu again. So I'm back where I started from. Okay. So I've now saved that as a marker. So now when I tap nearby markers, which is the last button at the bottom of the screen.
Marker, Hillside Home Bake, 535 meters.
So no matter where I am in the world or my local area, when I tap the nearby markers, it will continuously tell me how far away or how close I am to that particular location. Okay, so that's what we can do. Now what I want to do is I'm going to try and find that location. So I'm going to go to saved markers, because I know I've saved the Hillside Bakery already. So I'm going to go to save markers. I'm going to tap on that marker. And what I can do now is I can start what's called an audio beacon. Okay. So I can do that. But instead of doing that, because I'm not actually there and I'm not going to be walking around my local area to find this, I'm going to go to a different option, which is called Soundscape Street Preview. Okay. So what this means is that we can actually go to this current location virtually. Don't have to walk there, don't have to find it. This is a new feature in Soundscape. So if you want to explore an area or a location, it might be Times Square. You know, you might like to go to Wembley, for example, to see what's around Wembley before you go to the final on Sunday. Or you might like to go, you know, to Paris, somewhere in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. You can go to these locations, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go to the Soundscape Street Preview based on this current location, which is the hillside home bake. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to tap on that, and it's just loading. You do get some nice sounds and things with this app.
Starting street preview at Ogleway. Hillside home bake close by.
Okay, so with this particular feature now, I'm actually, for those of you, you won't be able to see this, but I'm gonna have to stand up in my office because this is how this particular feature works. So this uses a virtual compass so that when you move left or right, it will change your direction of the current location you're currently in. Okay, so I know at the moment that if I move to my right, okay, in a second.
Ogleway, heading northwest.
Okay.
Next intersection, Ogleway and Astley Road, 30 meters.
So if I want to move to that next location, I can actually tap on the screen, and that will move me to the next location of what it's just told me is 30 meters ahead. I don't want to move that way. I want to see what's around me. So I'll move to the left now. And I've got some
Ogleway,
there we
heading
go.
southeast.
So if I want to go
intersection, Lime Grove and Ogleway.
If I want to go
50 meters.
southeast, I'm going to tap on the screen. And now we're virtually traveling along
Hillside
that road.
Homebake. Approaching intersection. Lime Grove goes left. Ogleway continues ahead. Ogleway heading southeast.
Okay. And now while I'm actually traveling around virtually doing this, I can still use those buttons at the bottom of the screen so I can see my location.
At Lime Grove and Ogleway.
I can find out what's around me.
Astley Park, 140 meters. Hillside Dental Practice close by. William Hill close by. Pierce, 20 meters.
Okay, that's great. So we can also do ahead of me.
Hillside Dental Practice close by. One stop, 20 meters. The Apostolic Church of Liverpool, 135 meters. King George V Huerton C&B Knotty Ash Crown Green Bowls Club, 270 meters.
I fancy a bit of
Playground,
Crown Green Bowls.
300 meters.
Okay, right, so I've just heard William Hill there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the current location that I'm in. I'm going to go to places nearby, okay, and I'm going to try and find, let's see, I'm going to go things to do, and hopefully, let's see what else we can find in here. So let me see. I'm going to go to groceries. I'm not going to go to William Hill. That's it's not good gambling, is it? Okay, so I'm going to go to yeah. Let's have a little look. Where should we go? I'll go to Asda in Huyton. Okay, so I've got Asda in Huyton now, and if I want to start an audio beacon to that location, I can start the audio beacon. So I'll do that.
Beacon, 1.25 kilometers.
So we're at 1.25 kilometers away from Asda, so it is quite a bit of a walk. And that buzz, that kind of beeping noise that you can hear is our audio beacon. So if we know where Asda is already and we've walked there before, this audio beacon is going to be quite useful because it's going to give us that audio representation in our left or our right ear when we get closer to that location. The signal and this audio signal will get stronger and stronger the closer we get. So now I can still move around. I'm moving around to my right now.
Oval Way, heading northwest. Next intersection. Lime Grove, heading northeast.
So I'll go to Lime Grove. Let's go in that direction.
Turned left, now along Lime Grove. Approaching intersection. Lime Grove, goes left. Lime Grove, continues ahead. Beacon, 1.3 kilometers.
So we've actually walked further away from the beacon, from the Asda beacon.
Lime Grove and Herthersage Road.
And it's told me that. It's told me that as well. And also the audio beacon, audio kind of sound you can hear is not as strong as it was. Okay. So it's quite a strange way of using Soundscape, this, because I'm literally just standing in one spot in the room, moving around left and right, and then proceeding in different directions. So it's a funny one. It's a strange one, but it's good that you can do it because you can explore different areas before you actually go, which I think is really cool. Just going to come back to the center.
Lime Grove,
and I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit this, so that you can hear that audio because I'm facing in the right direction now. So the audio signal has got a lot stronger. I'm just going to exit that.
Ending Soundscape Street Preview.
So it is quite but the street preview is quite an experimental feature of Soundscape. I think probably brought in through the pandemic, seeing as people couldn't actually really get anywhere at the time. So it seemed like a good idea to bring a virtual kind of facility in so that you can navigate and find places before you go. So that's called the virtual preview. So it is quite a complex app. It's worth giving it a go. I will always suggest to people that if you're going to use this, use it somewhere familiar to begin with so that you can understand how the app works. So I've used the Soundscape app and I've walked to familiar places so I could see how accurate it was. So, for example, I wanted to find a bus stop a couple of roads down from me here, and it got me to, the vicinity of where the bus stop was with the audio beacon, whilst also telling me what was around me at the time. But this technology will never get you right to the bus stop. It will put you in the vicinity of anything between 5 and 10 meters or even 15 meters. So you have to kind of understand how accurate this technology can be as well. But it certainly does give you a bigger picture of what's around you, and what things are there. And I particularly find it useful if I'm in the city centre, if I'm in Liverpool and I'm walking down the street. I don't know what shops are there. I don't know what's on my left and on my right, but Soundscape will tell you as you walk past those particular points of interest where they are and what they are. And then if you think, well, I want to go to Argos, for example, I just heard it. You can then find Argos in your nearby places, set the audio beacon, and then that audio beacon will help you get to that location. So people will have lots of different, kind of tactics and lots of different kind of, you'll get into your own routine of using this, and everybody will use this app in a different way. It is very experimental, but I do recommend use it in a place you've been before. Maybe go with a friend as well, so that you've got somebody else with you when you first start to use it, just so that you can learn to use the app. But I think it's a great way forward. It's a great tool to have, mainly for finding what's around you. So what do you think, Jenny and Amanda? What do you think? Have you used it before, Jenny?
I did quite a while back, and I will be using it again now, because I'd used it somewhere quite new to me, quite remote, and it didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. probably due to user error. But I'm liking the fact that you can sort it out with your hearing, your earpods and things.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. The fact that, it's going to get you pretty close to the bus stop, because the majority of us use the bus. So the fact that if like the 46 bus right by me, it pulls up outside Specsavers.
Yeah.
Grand. If I want the bus stop and then it tells me that Specsavers is on my left and I'm in the right place. So I can use the two facilities together.
Yeah.
And I like that option.
It's good that you can run it, alongside another app as well,
Yeah. Yeah, so it might not pinpoint the actual bus stop itself, but for the fact that it's telling me what's around me, also, you can, if you know that that's where your bus stop is or whatever, you can combine the two functions.
Yeah.
On that. The only thing I don't know whether people with hearing problems will find quite distracting was when you were standing doing your twirls. I mean, turning round in the in your room.
Yeah.
There was that constant, almost droning noise, which was quite high pitched.
Yeah.
So if you struggle with hearing, that might be a little bit distracting. But it's like with anything else, if you live next to the train tracks, eventually you stop hearing it. So if you know to expect that, then it's not going to be too big of an issue for you.
It is absolutely, it is built on audio,
Yes.
and that's the whole thing with it. So stereo headphones are absolutely essential. It's not, it does say left and right when it announces things. Do you know what I mean? Which is great. But I think it's definitely more practical that you hear, the items of interest or points of interest in your right or your left ear, depending on where they are. It's quite important that you use it in that way. And that's the whole point of it. It's a 3D audio experience.
Yeah. And having... is it like the Bluetooth headphones that you can get in as well? Because not everyone, if you're a hearing aid wearer, then you're not then going to be able to get your earpods in.
Yeah.
So, having Bluetooth ones that go over your ears, like our current headsets that we've got on the phone now, obviously just minus its microphone, a similar kind of design that go over the top of your head, they'll still work with that, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite a unique piece of technology, and it's making other app developers put in similar modes as well. So, for example, there are some other apps out there. There's one called Lazarillo. We're going to be having someone from Lazarillo come speak to us in a couple of months as well.
Exciting!
And they have an explore mode in their app, which will just keep talking to you, telling you what's around as you walk around. So there's lots of this technology existing now, because I think over a long time we focused on getting from A to B, so I want directions from A to B, but it's also useful to know what's around you, because I love the idea of walking, through a shopping centre or through Liverpool, my local area, and something pops up, this new kind of Italian restaurant or Indian restaurant, whatever it might be. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Whereas a sighted person would go, oh, look at that new restaurant over there. Whereas a visually impaired person, you can't do that. So, Soundscape almost is like your, it's almost like your assistant. It's almost like your tour guide. Telling you what's around and about.
Yeah, the other advantage of this as well is the fact that you can pre-plan your points that you need to get to.
Yeah.
So you're not getting to Manchester city centre off the train and then going, oh, right, now you've got to mess with this. You can just do it all at home, because you've got to go from here to there to the other, put it in your phone, put it on the app, set it up. When you get there, launch your app and away you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than coming out of a train station and floundering because you go, I don't know where to go now.
I think the other great thing is as well that you can, as you navigate, as you do the virtual street view, you can set markers and things for locations that you find virtually. You can set them before you go, so that when you're there, you can press the nearby markers button and it will then tell you how far away you are from those locations.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you can set an audio beacon for a particular location that you want to be aware of or that you want to try and navigate to. And if you pair that up with, you know, Google Maps or other apps as well that give you step-by-step directions, you know, you can really make the most of using Soundscape. It will work with other apps. So if you use Google Maps or use WeWork or Blind Square or any popular kind of GPS app, both apps will actually, sometimes they will talk at the same time, but they will both operate at the same time for you if you are relying on, you know, multiple resources there to navigate. So you can use both apps at the same time, because again, I might like to go somewhere, but I do want to know what's in between. I want to know about things in between in my environment as I walk there. I don't want to be oblivious to knowing there's a new coffee shop popped up on the corner and, oh, I might get one of them on my way back. I don't want to miss out on information like that. It's true though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It is true, because as a fully sighted person, you know, that they spend all their time not actually looking in the direction they're going, but actually what is around them. So, you know, this is then, as you say, being that alternative to our fully functional eyes and doing it for us. Yeah,
there's so much information out there, and I know that Soundscape is not based on Google Maps. It uses a more open source data for the information that it gets. So, for example, like when I went to Paris a couple of years ago, took Olivia to Disneyland. I, for some unknown reason, I don't know why I did this, but I thought I'm gonna put Soundscape on while I'm in Disneyland. I don't know why I did that. I didn't know that it would work. I didn't know that it had been mapped out, but it had. So as I was walking around Disneyland, Soundscape was actually telling me what attractions were coming up, what the rides were, what the, you know, you coming up to Mickey's Cafe and all that type of stuff. And I loved that. You know, being like, because otherwise I'd be saying to me, oh, what's that over there? What's that? What's this? What's that? What's that? And she gets fed up with all that. So it was great for me to be able to just, I was actually telling her things. I was going, oh, see on the right over there. But she went, how did you know that? I said, well, I've got Soundscape on. It's telling me that it's there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was great. It was great that we got technology out there like that.
Yeah, I think most definitely as well, because it is, you know, a Disneyland, and, you know, we've just seen that Microsoft have been the developers of this, so they've probably kind of pushed it toward the big companies and organizations over there. So obviously then their outreaches, such as Paris and what have you, have taken it on board, because, you know, they're very inclusive in places like that for people with any kind of a disability. So, you know, they want to make it as easy as possible. And it's not just for people with sight issues. I'm sitting here listening to all this thinking, do you know what? I'm going to meet my friend in a bit and she's rubbish at getting herself from A to B. Her navigational skills are beyond useless. So, you know, for her, this would be an absolutely fantastic app for her to use. And she can see.
I think the thing as well, it's only available on Apple at the moment, but I mean, I think some of you guys might have been on we had Jarrell from one of the Soundscape developers. He joined us, I think it was last November, I think, to come and talk to us about Soundscape, and he was saying that they were currently doing some trials in Brazil at the moment on Android devices, because they are looking at bringing the app to Android. So hopefully we do see it on Android soon. But there are other alternatives, and we'll be looking at some of those over the next few months. In fact, next week we'll be looking at an app called WeWalk, and then a few weeks later we'll actually be joined by the WeWalk team, who will be showing us their smart cane as well that works with the app. So there's lots of kind of new things coming out, which, you know, in terms of navigation, getting from A to B, we've got lots of exciting things. And also, we haven't got a confirmed date for this, but we are going to be having an organization come to speak to us called Good Maps as well, and they specialize in indoor navigation.
Exciting.
So the navigation is kind of, they map indoor environments that use your camera, so that as you walk around that environment, the app can tell you what room you're in, what corridor you're in, whose office that is. And you have to, you use your smartphone to get around. So they're going to be coming and talking to us about that technology as well very soon. And they are doing some trials with some very well-known brands and supermarkets and things like that. So, the future's looking really bright. And I like the idea of, you can walk in a supermarket and an app will tell you what aisle you're in and things like that based on its map because it knows the building. So there's loads of new stuff coming out, guys. It's really exciting, and it's just going to help us all, just have more independence. Whilst you've got the only downside is that you've got to have your mobile phone in your hand all the time. That's the only thing.
It's not going to be long
It's not
before.
going to be long.
That's not a necessity.
We need some more hardware, don't we? Connected
Yeah,
hardware.
because the reason I asked about the direction of the phone was because you've got the runners that have got it permanently strapped to their arm.
Yeah.
But obviously then the GPS is slightly the wrong way round. So,
I think that's all right if it's on their arm. I just think the downside then, I think it would still get a really good direction. But I think the downside then is that you can't interact with the app while it's on your arm. I suppose that's the only issue of you using Soundscape.
Yeah.
And
if they had
sometimes I put it in my pocket.
Yeah. But if they had an equivalent that, you could wear on almost like an old style kind of breast pocket on your jackets or whatever, then if you could have it in there and it would still work as effectively because you wouldn't need it out all the time.
Yeah.
Then and there's lots of different
loads of cool stuff.
Either that or we can set it up to a mini Bluetooth camera that you can clip on. I don't know, see if we can get them to do that.
I think the way around it actually is if you do get the AirPods, the AirPods Pro, so it's not the normal Apple AirPods, then they don't work. But the AirPods Pro, and also the AirPods Max, which are like the over-ear headphones. Not that I would ever walk around with over-the-ear headphones, because it completely drowns out the sound around you. But the AirPods Pro, they let sound in. They let the environment in. They have like the microphones on the headphones that let you sound in, so you can still hear things whilst you're listening to something as well at the same time. But they've got that technology in them, which obviously is a directional kind of a compass technology, and obviously there's an API out there where Soundscape or Microsoft, they're able to get certain bits of information from those headphones to know which direction you're facing in, which is really cool then, because then it doesn't rely on the phone for the compass. It only relies on the phone for the GPS. So that's really good as well. And I mean, like 3 or 4 years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, Soundscape's been around for about 3 years now. Also, Bose have got a pair of sunglasses called the Bose Frames, which have got little speakers in them, and they have the compass technology in as well. So you can put those on, and they work with Soundscape. So it's really cool. There's, and I like that. I like more, connected technology that's going to make it even the experience even better, I think. So it's really good.